You plenty of room that way.
Okay.
And begin.
The most ironic part of An Inconvenient Truth, the video released by Al Gore, was that melting glaciers actually revealed thousands of misplaced ballots from the 2000 election. Now, Al Gore's political incentives to create the so-called hoax of global warming may actually be changed when you look to the perspective of Mark Twain, who of course knew nothing of global warming, but whose quote, "Hell goes to," just tell me.
Go to heaven for the climate, hell for the
Go to
company.
heaven for the climate and hell for the company. Now, within this quote, we'll recognize that many political incentives attached to global warming are matched by equal incentives in our relationships, in which the company of the people around us may actually turn into a hell in the long run. But first, when looking to the attributes of global warming, it's important to note that there's exaggerations on both sides of the aisle. Is global warming going to kill us in the next 20 years? Probably not. And as the UN releases a report saying that it's more dangerous than ever, it leads many to wonder, well, what's more dangerous than the extinction of the human race? But furthermore, we can see that people that propose green technology are actually on the right side of the spectrum, in that it's not going to hurt any US investments in the future. It could only help us if global warming actually turns into a real threat. Now, one common misconception that Mark Twain himself would probably have a good giggle at is that global warming may ironically cause an ice age by changing the way that the ocean currents move. Meaning that even if you don't believe in global warming and you just think it's springtime, it will ultimately make climates colder in the long run. Because many of the misconceptions about global warming, it's important that Mark Twain's words telling us that heaven goes to the climate is reconsidered from a political standpoint. But furthermore, we'll see that many of these political standpoints are shaped by the company we surround ourselves with. As people gather in Washington to discuss issues such as gun control, climate change has not really become a real priority. Therefore, we can see that the people we surround ourselves in ultimately shape our beliefs. Sometimes for the worst, as Mark Twain would say, hell. Now, many people on the forensics team are, nice, upstanding folks, but sometimes they can get a little rowdy when Bill's not in the room. Although this company may turn this room into an ultimate hell, they still are helpful in the long run because they help share ideas like a team. So in reflecting on Mark Twain's quote, "Heaven goes to the climate as hell goes to the company," it's important to focus on two areas of its development. First, what it means for the political issue of global warming, and second, what it means for political company as a whole. Now, Mark Twain's quote reminds us that Al Gore is probably exaggerating many of the claims behind global warming, but in the end, he's probably still good company, unless he ends up dragging us to hell, spending way too much money adapting our climate policies. In the end, it's important that we distinguish what is good company and whether climate change is actually real for ourselves. Thank you.